Hey guys, good morning again. This is Eric Abing. I'm with BluIP, Director of Product Management. There are a few more people trying to get in, but it's 10:03 already, and I say let's go ahead and get started. This meeting is being recorded. It's being recorded by Teams Recording, and we can forward you guys the link once the recording is done. So again, thank you for joining us today. And today we have a fun topic to discuss. We're going to be talking about the Cisco Enhanced Call Center reporting replacements. All right, guys, so let's begin. So, as you may have already known, Cisco formally announced the end of maintenance for the enhanced call center reporting effective September 30th of this year. Now, what really that means is that, after this date, Cisco will no longer provide updates. If you guys notice an issue with the actual data in the report or if the numbers are off, there's really not much that we or Cisco can do for you guys because they've already, ended end of sale back in 2019, I believe, and then they officially announced that, come September 30th, they're not going to be producing any more updates or, to fix any issues for the ECCR. So that's the bad news. The good news is, BluIP, does have your back, and we do have a solution for you. So we have we have an ECCR replacement from Akixi. Now, Akixi has been with us now probably for a good 6 or 7 years because I started in BluIP back in 2017, and we were already working with them. So Akixi's enhanced call center report replacement, it gives you guys pretty much a one-for-one, like-for-like ECCR equivalent reporting. So if you guys were running the agent summary report, if you guys were running the agent activity report or the call center details report, there is a one-for-one replacement for all of the ECCR reports except for two reports. And those two reports are any reports that have the title by skill on them. They are still working on that, but the good news is we did do a lot of reporting analytics on who actually runs those reports, and we can't seem to find any. Um, Other than some internal in-house demo that we've been using, nobody really uses the the call skills the call skills report. So most of the reports that are being run are like the call center detail activity report or the agent's detail activity report. And unlike the, the broad self-thin client version, it is fully customizable. I get to the next page over here. All right, so as you can see, there are 17 ECCR reports. Okay, well, actually there's 19. We are providing 17 of them. So they have real-time reports replacements, historical reports replacement, scheduled reports replacement. They have variable interval sampling. So whether you want to run the reports by half-hour basis, 1 hour basis, by day, by week, by month. Customizable timeframes. You can filter by report, you can filter by agents, and you can even filter by call queues. And we'll go through all that. And it's very, very easy to use. The good news about the Akixi solution is that you don't have to be a seasoned, call center supervisor pro to truly understand the reports. Building reports are simple, and you can start with a very simple report, and then you can work your way up by adding more fields, adding more reports, until you do become a pro at it. One thing I've noticed in using the Akixi platform is there's a whole bunch of helps everywhere, which is really good. So it's a very powerful platform, but because it's a powerful platform, they understand that there's a lot of stuff in it. So they do have to give you guys a whole bunch of help. And so their F1 help, by the way, it's probably one of the most detailed F1 help I have seen in quite a long time. It's so detailed. I mean, I feel like the F1 help is an F1 just to help me navigate through the whole thing. But that's because they have explained every single field that you could possibly see in the Akixi reporting platform. So just a quick case for Akixi. So they are the industry leader when it comes to call reporting analytics. So Akixi excels in call center reporting with top-tier analytics platform. And we do have aligned goals. So BluIP and the Akixi both focus on delivering high-quality, customer-centric solution. Right? So BluIP, we are a medium-sized company, but we do work like a small mom and pop shop. And you guys have called our support. We're always open, right? And we always handhold you guys when you can't get something done. You know, our motto is if it doesn't exist, we will find a solution to make it work, right? So Akixi offers a like-for-like replacement that mitigates risk by preserving existing call center functionalities while enhancing reporting capabilities. So the whole goal in this is that, when Cisco does decide to remove the ECCR menu altogether, okay, we do have a backup solution. But I don't want to scare you guys. The point of this call is not to scare you that on September 30th, all your reports are going to die, right? That they are not going to die. We're going to try to keep them for as long as possible. However, we are working with Cisco with other support type tickets. And in order to fix issues not related to call reporting, we may have to go and upgrade our service packs, or we may have to upgrade the entire release altogether. And when we do that, to fix another type of problem, we may inadvertently break the report because Cisco maybe not have placed that, the reporting in another service pack. So right now it is still working, and for as far as I know, come September 30th, it will still continue to work. But we can't guarantee for how long we can continue to stay, at this service pack at this release level. Again, we are working with multiple vendors and multiple solutions, and in order to become a solutions provider, sometimes we do have to upgrade our own system in order to meet their demands, in order to meet their minimum requirements. And so that's what that means. Okay. So next steps, I'm going to show you guys a demo. I didn't want to show you guys a whole bunch of powerful, a whole bunch of PowerPoint slides, but I'm sure you guys are going to have a whole bunch of questions after this call. So please take the time to, to talk to your sales rep. And the cool thing about this is we are not forcing you guys to go to Akixi on the get-go. Okay, that's never been our plan. So what we are doing is we're working with Akixi to give us a 60-day free trial to test out their entire slew, their entire platform, not just the ECCR reporting. After this call, go ahead and hit up your salesperson. Okay, we will build you guys an environment that you can test out using live data, not fake data, not demo data, using your actual live data, and you'll be able to play with all the reporting, ECCR and non-ECCR, for 60 days. And the reason why we pushed for 60 days and not 30 days is because we know that for historical data to be optimized, well, you have to have history, right? So we can't just give you, 30 days because it does take 2, 3, or 4 weeks to build up enough call traffic so that we can have meaningful, scheduled reports and historical data. So we figure we're going to give you guys, 2 or 3 or 4 weeks worth of call reporting while you guys are playing with it, and then another 30 days to actually get used to the environment, run different types of reports, and see what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So again, we're not going to kill off, the ECCR server. However, in order to stay ahead of the technology with other vendors or issues that we're solving for other customers, we may have to update, and we may have to update to a version that no longer has the ECCR reports. Okay. All right. So why don't we do this? Let's go ahead and look at this real quick. So this is what you're probably used to seeing, right? So this is the Broadworks Call Center Supervisor screen, and you guys probably go to the reporting screen to run your reports, your ECCR reports. And if you click on over here, you can see all of the current ECCR reports. You've got the abandoned call report, agent activity detail report, agent activity reports. So the skill report, I've already mentioned, that's not one of them that we're going to be able to do. But everything else that doesn't say skill on it, Akixi has a one-for-one replacement for it. And if you look at one of these reports, like for example, let's just do maybe agent call detail report. So you can see it's very basic, right? You can run the report, and that's pretty much it. So you can run the report against all agents, or you can just choose one agent at a time, right? And then you can just choose the agent that you want to report to. So let's just click on all agent. You have two types. Do you want to do a historical report or a scheduled report? If you do a scheduled report, then you get to choose the name and the description. How often do you want to run the reports? And, at the bottom here, who do you want to send it to, right? Pretty basic. You guys have done this. But there's really nothing more in the way of customizing the report itself, right? Whether or not you like the fields that Brosov gave you, it doesn't really matter because you can't delete them anyway, right? So I hear people telling me that, they always try to download the reports on, on CSV format, XLS format, so that they can take it into an Excel file, and then from there, then they have to massage the reports. Well, it would be great if you can even massage the reports even before you take it down to a CSV file or an XLS format, right? So maybe there's a whole bunch of fields that are not pertinent to your report, right? Maybe you want to run a historical report, so all of these real-time data, you're not interested in them, right? So you can remove them on the fly. And you can even add additional fields. If your report is missing some fields, you can add additional fields. You can even change the name of the field, the spacing of the field, the way it looks. There's a lot of customization going on, as opposed to just, clicking the start date, start time, end time, run report, right? So just like here, you have the choice of PDF, XLS, or HTML. And then when you go ahead and click on run the report, I must have done something wrong. So let me click here and maybe pick a different date, run the report. Right. So like I said, this is pretty much what you get, right? There's not much in the customization. If I wanted to change the agent name to just say name, well, not a luck. If I want to change any of these fields, right? So they're pretty static fields. So what you're going to have to do is you download them to an Excel spreadsheet. Then you're going to have to massage the Excel spreadsheet and then, forward them off to your team, right? So this is how you guys are probably used to doing it. I mean, there's another way to access the ECCR reports by going into, the actual BroadSoft admin account itself. But most likely, this is where you're probably accessing your reports. Okay. So now let's go ahead and see how we do it in Akixi. This is the Akixi portal. So let me go ahead and sign out so you can see. I'm going to sign out. I'm going to sign back in. I'm going to sign in as my admin account or my supervisor accounts. Okay. Pretty clean. So everything starts at the hamburger menu, and then go ahead and click on reporting. Okay. So there's two ways to build a report. You can either just hit the plus sign and you can just add a report from scratch. Okay. Or you can click on the add default report, and the add default report opens up a plethora, so many different types of reports that's available on Akixi. You have standard reports, you have call center reports, and this is the one obviously that we are interested in. We are talking about the enhanced call center reports. So as you can see here, there is a one-for-one replacement. So we have the agent's activity detail report, agent call report, agent duration report, sign in, sign out report, summary report. They have a report for every single one of the ECCR reports. Okay. But before we dive into that, I'm going to walk you through just how easy it is to create just a simple Akixi report. So what we'll do is we'll create just a simple sales report, for example, all right? And I'm going to, for this one, I do have some dummy data that we can use, so that way it looks more natural, right? So I'm going to go ahead and hit plus. Okay. So you can see that the reporting option by default, it defaults to wallboard, okay? And if I do nothing else, other than maybe give it, so you do have to tell it the telephony server that you want to run it against, and you do have to tell it the partition. So the telephony server is your BroadSoft Enterprise, and the partition is your group ID. So I'm going to choose my BluIP demonstration facility, and as you can see here in my demonstration facility, I have two companies. I got the Acme Travel Insurance and the Acme Travel Company and the insurance company, or you can just say all groups, right? If I do nothing else and just do that, right? There's my report. Okay? It took a few clicks and I already have a working report. I have now a dashboard that can show me, waiting now, longest waiting, answered now, overflowed, inbound answered, outbound call. So, and a get-go, it took us maybe a few clicks and we already have a running report. So now what we'll do is we'll build on this report and we'll create just a simple, a details report of how our agents are doing or how our salespeople are doing. So let's go ahead and click off of this, right? We'll come back over here. Let me delete this so we can start from scratch. Okay. This time we'll do plus. right in the wallboard. This time let's do an extension device reports. You can give it a name. Let's call it um, weekly sales report. Right? If you leave the folder blank, it'll just put it in the reporting folder, or you can create something called, let's just say my sales report. Right? And for notes, we can say that this is a Monday through Friday report. Okay? All right, so that's just for our purposes. So now it's asking me, how do you want to display the data? Well, by default, it is detailed table view. Okay? But you can also show the data as busy landfill view horizontal, busy landfill view vertical, or you can even do chart view. And if you click on chart view, it even gives you more options now. You can choose from a Pi 2D, Pi 3D, all the way to Pi 3D stacked. So there's a lot of ways to show that same report. But for our demo, let's just stick to a simple detailed report. Okay. Because this is going to be my weekly report. So let's choose this week. Okay. And for days of the week, I only want Saturday and Sunday off, right? So I want Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on. And then for the time range, so it brings up this cool little circular clock. So I want the report to start at 9 a.m. Okay. And I want to end it at 5 p.m. So as you can see, the outside is your 12, the inside is your 24. So we'll do that. We'll move it right about there. There, okay. So now we have 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. report. And if we do nothing else, we click on OK. Oh, but let's make sure that we put the correct server. Let's put that there. And now we'll do OK. All right. So now we have just a simple report that you can build on, okay? So now that we're here, let's go all around this screen, and I'll show you guys what everything means. So this button right here, this is going to be your most favorite button because this is your modify report button, right? So anything that you want to change in the report, always click on these little 3 circles with the bar, okay? So this is going to be your best friend. That's the modify report button, okay? This right here is going to be your printable or generate a printable version of this report. So if you click on that, just like that you saw on the broad south side, you can download this as a PDF, portable data format. You can download it as an RTF, rich text format. You can even download it as a CSV, right? Comma separated values, which you can stick into Excel. Or you can just flat out print the report and send it over to your printer, right? So if you click on print report, there's your report right there, okay? And you can just print that out, okay? So this is your device filter. So if you want to maybe not show everybody, you can just click on whichever extension, device, or agent that you want to look at. Okay. Zoom level, I pretty much keep at auto, right? But here's what happens if you try to play with it. Like for example, if I make it smaller, so as you can see, right? So if you want to make it larger, that's what it is. So, it all depends on your monitor, what your resolution is. My laptop here is, it's 2580 by 1024. So I usually put it for auto, and then it just tries to maximize, whatever it can, and, to fill your screen. Now, I don't have a physical device associated with my account. That's why I don't have call controls, but that's what that means. That little handset icon is your call control. So like, for example, if you're on a call, you can use this and you can put the call on hold. You can transfer the call. It's call control. And this is your, set account disposition code for your, this is a disposition code button. What was this call about? It was about returns. It was, customer angry, whatever disposition code you guys want. So this is one of the first help. So this, click on here for help. And what this does is it basically shows you the help for the report toolbar. Okay, so it shows you what this is, it shows you what that is, and it tells you what all of these icons are, right? So this is just the simple help. Clicking on over here, right, it'll change the way the report is actually displayed. So if you click that little icon right there, right now we have it on detailed table view. You can also show it as a busy landfill type view. And whenever they go on, it just lights up. or you can do it as a chart view. Okay. So on the fly, you can just change the way that you look at the report. So let's just go back to the view. And then this last piece here is, it changes the interval, right, or the frequency. Um, so do you want this real time, today, yesterday? Remember that we chose this week because this is a weekly sales report. Do you want to make it a monthly report, right? Or you can just choose a date range. Off over here, if you have this button right here, if you have multiple reports, every time you open a new report, it creates a tab right here. So we have a weekly sales report. But if I click on another report, it'll add another report here, add another report here. And by clicking on this button right here, what it does is it basically toggles accessing all the reports. So it doesn't stay at one report forever. It goes from one report to another report, and then you can set the time value of when you want it to jump. Okay? And then again, there's your report. So there's our weekly report right now. All right, so now what we'll do is we'll get even more granular, right? So there's a whole bunch of people here I don't really want to, to capture. So we'll go back to our favorites button right here. This time let's go back to filter, and you can choose. So now we can filter by device, and a device is basically, any BroadSoft user ID that can take a call. So, any extension counts as a device. Hunt groups counts as a device, right? Anything that can take a call counts as a device, as opposed to an ACD agent. And an ACD agent is basically what you would think it is. Anybody that has the BroadSoft ACD agent license, right? So it shows you all of your ACD agents, and it shows you from over here for the device, it pretty much shows you everything else, right? As you can see, if I scroll down, you can see everything else, right? So let's just say that I don't want to see everybody. I only want to see Lois. I only want to see Abigail. I only want to see Aaron, Megan, and Ellie, right? Those are the people that I want, right? So I can just click on that. And then what I can do is I can go to the fields, right? So right now, right, these are all of the fields that's basically showing on the report. And this is what I mentioned before, on the BroadSoft side, you pretty much take what they give you and that's it. And you run it against an Excel spreadsheet and you clean it up that way. But for example, maybe I'm not interested in active call, right? These things. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in that. So you can just hit the minus sign. Okay, I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in any of these things. I only want, let's just say, up to here, right? I can subtract that. If I make a mistake, I have an oops button and I can just click on reset all, right? If I click on reset all, it brings everything back. So like I said, you can't make a mistake. You can play around for it as much as you want. Then all of a sudden, if you decide like, oh, you know what, forget it. I did want the inbound calls. Never mind. So I'll just take this to here and I can just highlight it and I can just take it out. Or of course you can just remove all. But what if there's a field that you're interested in that's not here? So you can click on the plus right here, right? And now you can add additional fields, active call properties, call counts. So maybe we're interested in some call counts. So let's do this. Let's do some answered now. Let's do some, actually, I don't want these. I want, yeah, there we go. Inbound answered, inbound calls, see? And okay, there you go. So you can add and remove fields. But not only that, you can take the field, right? And you can change the name of the field right here. So this one here, it's called device. You can see it. It's called device, right? If I don't want to call it device, maybe people don't know what a device is. Maybe I want to call it extension, right? And if I say OK, well, guess what? It's now an extension. Okay. So there's our little report. So now we have our little report, and now what we want to do is we want to schedule this report. So where do we start? Well, we start where we always start. This is our favorites button, the modify report. Right? And we'll go back to scheduling. So as you can see here, by default, it is not scheduled. Click the drop down. So how often do you want to run this report? Do you want to run it once, hourly, daily, weekly, monthly? So because this is a weekly report, let's go ahead and choose weekly, right? And when do you want to run the report? Well, let's say I want to run the report on Friday, and then it says, well, what time do you want to run the report? Why don't we run the report at 9 p.m.? But if you don't want to run the report at 9 p.m., you can run the report at 5 p.m. Okay? And now it's going to ask you, so how do you want the report to be displayed when it does get sent out? So again, you have your PDF, RTF, CSV. Let's go ahead and click on CSV. Actually, I like PDF. PDF is cool. And here's just language and paper size. And then if there's multiple files, you can just zip everything up. Right, so come on Friday at 6 p.m., right? I should be getting a report, right? So it's going to run the report. I actually ran this report before this call. Let me see if I can give you guys, if I can show you an example of what the scheduled report looks like. Second here, I'm opening up my email. Okay, maybe not. It looks like I've already deleted the report. No, there it is. I found it. All right. So as you can see, you'll get an email from here, from Master Access, application mailer. There's your report. It's in a zip file. There's the report name. There's a report schedule. Okay. Obviously, if you want to run this report and you want to test it, you don't have to wait until Friday at 6 p.m. To see what it looks like. Then, if you want it sooner, then obviously you just change the time that you want to run it to, right? And just say that you want to run it, at 10 minutes from now. Okay. So that's how you build a report. Very simple, right? So now back to our original question was, now what do we do about the ECCR? So let's go ahead and close out of this. We'll come back to reports. So let's get rid of that. We'll say delete folder. I like to delete it because I just like to have everything clean, right? So if I click here, which is the add defaults reports, okay? If you have a supervisor license, you have access to this report. Okay? If you don't have access to this report, it may be because you were onboarded before the ECCR reports came about, but that's not an issue. If you don't see this on your menu, we can definitely just let us know, let support know, and we can copy the reports to your profile, and you will see the ECCR reports. But on top of the ECCR reports, like I mentioned, we have standard reports. We have all call center reports, the ECCR reports, and the power user reports. So there is a lot of reports that you can do with Akixi. Okay. So for example, let's go an enhanced call center report. We'll go into one of them. Maybe we'll go to, let's see, agent call detail report, right? And what it does is it adds the report, okay, to here, and then you click on it, right? If it doesn't show any data, it's probably because I didn't tell it specifically which enterprise ID and which group ID to run it on. So everything that we talked about during the first part of building the reports, everything applies to the ECCR reports, right? So everything, all of the customizations, add and remove fields, all that applies to here. So if we go back to our filter, let's just go ahead and let's just put back our demonstration facility, okay? And there you go, okay? So now we have a full-fledged working ECCR type reporting report. So if we compare all of the reporting, right? By the way, you don't have to click on every single one to add it here. If you just click here, it just adds everything, right? So now you have access to all of the agent reports, and you have access to all of the call center reports, all in one fell swoop. So you can just go through all of the reports, right? So now it just starts adding. As soon as you click on something, it starts adding. So you can click on that. Let's click on agent summary report, and then again, it just starts adding and adding and adding. Okay. And this is where this comes into play, because now that we have multiple reports types, if we click here, right, every 4, 3, 2, 1, and it's going to switch. Okay. So this might be useful if you're looking at multiple dashboards. So you have one dashboard, or you want to see this, and then you can just set the time, or you can just turn it off. So that's where that comes into play. Okay. All right. So as you can see, it's very simple. It's as simple but more powerful than obviously than the BroadSoft thin client that you guys are used to. There is some learning curve. It did take me personally. It took me some time because I am a product manager and this is my product, but I'm not a seasoned call center supervisor. So I've never had to deal with call center supervisor type management day to day. We do have people on with those skills, in our team that use this reporting, very, very, very well. But the good news is, as I mentioned before, is you can start with a basic report and then you can work your way up. And again, what I want to reiterate is, the reporting isn't going to die, come September 30th, but we cannot guarantee how long we can stay, providing the ECCR reports because obviously it is not up to us, right? It is a Cisco BroadSoft, thing that they decided to end of maintenance this thing, right? But the good news is, Cisco BroadSoft does recommend Akixi as one of the providers to provide ECCR type reporting. And we do have this thing where if you guys are interested in testing the reports today, just give us a holler. We can build you out your platform literally within minutes, right? Now, obviously, we build you out, you guys go log in, and then you're not going to see any historical reports because it does take time to build out, the reports to have historical data. But the good news is you'll have 60 days to play with it. And at the end of 60 days, we do have an automatic sweep. If you guys tell us that you're really not interested and you want to find another way to get your ECCR reports, that's definitely perfectly fine. But at the end of the 60 days, we do get charged. So that's why we do have to suspend the communications from Akixi to BroadSoft, so we don't get hit by enormous fees by all of our partners running all of their reports. But if you do decide to keep it, then we'll move you from our 60-day trial to our production environment, where you guys can start, indefinitely using all of the reports. So I know I said a lot. Mark Bing is also on this call. Mark Bing has been instrumental to our team. Mark Bing is our sales engineer for Akixi. Mark, you still on the call, sir?
I still am. Absolutely.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to mention that I did not mention that might be worth it for the group?
I think you covered everything, quite finely, just to reiterate the one thing that is a bit different about Akixi and versus the pre-existing reports that you had is you had a limited set of filters on the old existing reporting, that allowed you to just change a time period, scope of agents, things like that. We do have a lot of customization capability and including adding a lot of field metrics that, the old reports would not have calculated. And so you do have at your fingertips a set of tools to even, further customize and create specific things, as well as the very first report that Eric showed, like a real-time wall board. There's things there in the solution, that you didn't have before. So it does open up the window, to a lot of new capabilities. So level one, yeah, we're about replacement, and so forth. But level two, you have a lot more things at your fingertips. So
Thank you, Mark.
all I wanted to say. Yeah, thanks.
I also want to mention, because in case you guys are confused about, so how do I actually get the ECCR report? So we do have license packages. If all you're interested in are the ECCR reports, we got you. But if you find that now you want to extend beyond the ECCR reports and look at all of the other set of reports that come with Akixi, and you want to do that, then we also have a different set of licenses available as well. So if all you're wanting to do is, I just want my ECCR reports because we were We were emailing them to people. I want to continue emailing them to people. I email them to my, my CEO, my CIO, CO. I email them to everybody, and I need to make sure that those things, get emailed. We have that. We have an ECCR supervisor special price license, and we have an ECCR agent specially priced license. If all you want to do is just continue your ECCR reporting, but I think that once you start playing with the ECCR platform, and once you do your once you do your 60-day trial, I think you'll find that Akixi is a lot more than just ECCR replacement, as you will see, because you will build upon reports. You'll start with your simple one, and you'll keep building on it and building on it and building on it until you get to the point that you finally have the report that you want. So we have that. So definitely please hit up your salesperson, or your sales manager from BluIP. Even today, we are ready for you guys. If you want to start playing with it today, it takes literally minutes to onboard you. We'll even handhold you and show you how to log in. You'll get if you don't have an email specified in BroadSoft, we will probably have to just email you your login credentials, because most people have 818-839-6415 at BluIP. That won't work, so we can't send you an email from that point. But if you do have a valid email attached to your user profile, yes, then we can email you your credentials. Otherwise, then we'll probably have to call you and set up something with you and show you guys how to log in. But once you log in, it's very basic. And I did log in multiple times already, so that's why I don't get any of the tutorial. There's a whole bunch of tutorials I didn't show you because I've already logged into it and I told it not to show me the tutorials. So there's a lot of inside help that you can use to teach you about it. And plus, if you go to YouTube and you just type in the word Akixi, Akixi, there is a slew of YouTube videos that you can view to help you get started in your call reporting analytics journey. Okay. Anybody else in my team? If I missed anything, are there any questions? Mark Horton, is there anything you wanted to say specifically about the end of maintenance?
No, I think you covered it all. Again, guys, not going away. We'll support it as best we can, but I think that this is a positive move forward anyways, with the limited reporting that ECCR has given us. I think we've reached that max capability anyway. So I think it's a good transition.
I agree. Thank you, Mark. And please, if you guys are interested, just do me a favor, just hit up your salesperson and we can get you started as soon as possible. And she'll soon begin to realize that you're not really losing anything. Actually, you're gaining a lot more. All right. That's all I had for you today. Thank you guys for joining. I know it's a busy always on Thursday, so thanks again for joining. Bye all. Have a great rest of your week.